Test. And that is how we do things in the north. Alright. For those of you that are here, guys, not gonna play music today, actually, unfortunately. Gonna look to not get my VODs muted by the Twitch auto recognition system. So, game should be up in 10 minutes or so. I am casting from a ticket, so maybe around 12 to 13, but we'll be in there for some real great action tonight. So, I'll see you in 10. And welcome back, Dota 2 fans. I am More Rage Please Dota, your resident Canadian caster, and this is how we do things in the north with the Canadian punch. And I've got Ymir with me. No, I'm just insane and I don't have a co-caster. So I'll be doing a little bit of a task for you. We've got an awesome matchup for you tonight. The heavily favored Thundercats, who did extremely well in the group stage, are going to be going up against Shadows of the Past. That's Nayrok, Dota, and his squad versus Salen and his squad. So Thundercats been rolling everyone lately. Dota 2 Lounge odds at about 73% to 27 in favor of them. So they're doing extremely well. And they're going to look to take out Shadows of the Past. Two American squads here, actually. Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. I am and I'm going to have a little bit of feedback. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I had to fix that up. Watching my own stream because I have no fans yet. But they will come. And they will come swiftly when they do. So looking forward to a really good match tonight. This is the first best of 3 in the quarterfinals of the Dota 2 Canada Cup once again. And a few pretty standard bans coming out. We get the Brewmaster ban and the Razor, as well as the Lycan from the Radiant side. So nothing too unusual. Actually, Brew, not something I've seen been banned too much lately, as much as he's been picked up, especially in the Canada Cup here, but they will remove that, and the Void will also get removed. So no big team fight alts in terms of the Eye of the Storm, the Chronosphere, and the Primal Split, but right away we'll pick up a Doom. So nice stable first pick for Shadows of the Past here. We'll see if I Annihilate plays that. He's generally the 2 role, or the 3 role I should say, for Shadows of the Past, and has played this Doom quite a bit in the past. We'll see the Death Prophet be picked up by the Thundercats here, so very strong team fight early on for them. See what they look to couple this with, perhaps a early support pick. But they have been doing extremely well, actually beating Navi US. They're going 3-0 in the group stage, Thundercats did, and beat Navi US with a Timbersaw in their draft. So it was a really fun game to watch. If you check out twitch.tv/Dota2 Canada Cup, you can probably find the VODs there. You should also support the Dota 2 Canada Cup because they've been bringing us some real quality Dota, really premier stuff in this last season. This is Season 3, so if you haven't already, grab up your ticket for $5.99 on the Dota 2 store. It comes with a beautiful little Bearski courier. Actually is a very nice courier. So kudos to them. Job well done on that. They will pick up the Skywrath Mage. Not going to couple it with the Void here for the Thundercats, as they were the ones to ban him out. But they will have him as a first support. Presumably, don't see him too much as a core, but he certainly works and is very versatile as a hero, especially in this aggressive meta that we've seen. This meta that some are finding a little bit stagnant at this point, but I'm definitely enjoying it. A lot of big team fights, a lot of early aggression, a lot of roaming, a lot of ganking, so definitely no stale Dota for us, and the Dota 2 Canada Cup, I should say, has not disappointed in any respect. In terms of some quality Dota, really good matchups. I'm looking forward to a few of the other best of 3s in this playoff so far. Like I said, a lot of North American teams actually making it through the group stage in the Dota 2 Canada Cup, which, if you didn't know, does not only feature teams from Canada, it does feature teams from both the North and South Americas. Not today. The Peruvian squad did make it into the playoffs, though, so there is some representation for South America. Really well played by them as well. I believe they went 3-0 in the group stage, as did the Thundercats, albeit the Thundercats, I believe, had a little bit of a tougher group in terms of skill level of the team. Shadows of the Past actually are coming out of not today's group. If I remember correctly, can just check that quick. And they are. They actually, their only loss came to not today. So Shadow Shaman will be picked up by Shadows of the Past. Really good support. I like him here. Not extremely strong in the lane because of his squishiness, and his early movement speed is a little bit gimp, but offers a real whole lot We saw some plays by Mystico
Reserve time.
actually last Sunday, this past Sunday in the Dota 2 Canada Cup, which were just insane. With this hero split pushing the map while his team was in a large disadvantage, and they came out on top in that game. But he offers a lot with his disable, of course, and his pushing ability with the Serpent Wards. They'll proceed to ban out the Tidehunter as well as the Centaur. There will be a Jakiro ban from the Thundercats, so banning away a really strong push and extra disable with the Ice Path there and the Liquid Fire, which is just, let's be realistic about it, OP early on in the game. Very spammable at level 4. It's got a 4-second cooldown. It's got 0 mana cost and just melts away towers. So if I had to sniff it out, I would say there might be a slight nerf to that in the time coming. I think a reasonable nerf would be to not hinder the attack speed of buildings. It could still do the same amount of damage it does, but the way that it cripples the tower and debilitates the tower in terms of being able to fend off heroes by its own right is really kind of overpowered. I can see the attack slow being pretty effective and not necessarily imbalanced against heroes, but against towers it's really strong right now. Virtus Pro been running a lot of core Jakiro. Complexity Gaming been running a lot of core Jakiro with Moon Meander, excuse me, on Complexity Gaming in the Dota 2 Canada Cup as well, and a lot of support Jakiro has been thrown around here and there. So the Nature's Prophet will be picked up by Thundercats. They'll proceed to ban out the Naga Siren before picking up the NP. So really strong lineup from them. They have the Sprout Mystic Flare combo available to them now. A little bit of team fight presence globally with a teleport in from the Nature's Prophet, and of course the push ability, with the spawning of the Treants to help accelerate their push, give them an extra amount on their wave. So good drafts so far from both. Pretty well rounded, pretty wide open in terms of the directions they can go with this. There will be a Wraith King pickup from Shadows of the Past, so something you often would see into these big team fight alts, because you can blow something like an Exorcism, you can blow something like a Chronosphere on the Wraith King, and he's not too worried about taking these one-hit wonders, so to speak, these big play heroes, these wombo combo heroes, taking that to the face, slowing them down, using up their big cooldowns, and then reinitiating or re-engaging into the fight with his team. So we'll see if this ends up being a core for Shadows of the Past. Generally, we've seen it a lot as a support 4 or 5 role. He would probably be playing the 5 in this case, just because you do like for your Shadow Shaman to get a little bit of farm, get up a Serpent Wards, get up potentially a Blink, if not an Aghanim Scepter. So we'll see where Thundercats look to respond in terms of this 4th pick phase. And they do pick up a Viper, so looks like we will have a safe lane Viper, barring an aggressive tri-lane from the Thundercats. They'll have the DP in mid, presumably, and the off-lane Nature's Prophet, again, barring an aggressive tri-lane, which I'm not sure would be extremely effective with already Skywrath and Viper out, would be members of that aggressive tri-lane, and they do not have lockdown either, albeit they both have slows. There is the Ancient Seal. Usually you see Skywraths go a 1-1-1 build early, so a lot of utility there from the Skywrath, a little bit of slow from the Viper, definitely some lane presence with the Nether Toxin to last hit and the Corrosive Skin to keep him alive. But there is a Mirana here picked up from Shadows of the Past. Again, very versatile pickup. This Wraith King and Mirana can both be run in core as well as support roles, so we'll see what they look to do here with the Viper pickup from Thundercats, as well as the Sprout from the Nature's Prophet, the Concussive Shot, presumably the Yules that will be built by the Death Prophet. I don't want to see a Wraith King core here, just because the problem with a Wraith King core is he generally doesn't build BKB right away. May build into it later, but being as that he does not, because he's Yolt, you only live twice, him being kited around, especially with range carries like Viper and DP and Nature's Prophet, is really a hindrance to his ability to do well in the team fights and to get a lot done as a core. So with the ability to Sprout him, to Viper Strike him, to Concussive Shot him, to silence him, to Yules him, with the Death Prophet, he will be really stagnated in the team fights and should not be a big factor. But as a support, he can jump in because his life is not as important and be kited around and not necessarily hamper the damage or the team fight of Shadows of the Past. So we'll see what they decide to do here. It does look like he is a support. They do pick up the Alchemist, so presumably this Alchemist will be in a core role. For F4L is a support player. He's the 4 player for Shadows of the Past. So as I said, you will see the Wraith King in the 5, so it seems. Nayrok is the offlaner for Shadows of the Past, so it looks like we'll have an offlane Doom. Let me just get this out of here for you guys.
Roots and run.
Last hit denies. We'll take a look at the item builds just to ensure which lanes are for which heroes. Chrysalid is a really good support player for TC. To round out the draft there, guys, he's got stuck talking about this core Wraith King and the concern on whether his life is important or not, jumping into team fights. So they did round it out with an Abaddon, so a lot of push here from TC, a lot of stay ability, a lot of sustain with this Abaddon, and that'll help out the push, so they don't necessarily need a hero like that Shadow Shaman that was picked up by Shadows of the Past. So we will see a 5 Wraith King. What is hip? Can't click on heroes. I am able to for once, so there is an advantage to not casting in Dota TV. And that is that you can click on heroes apparently. So we will see Reality in the mid here. Selen, the captain, on the 4 Skywrath. Guanzo playing up the safe lane Viper. We've got DK actually in the 1 role. He's the 1 role in general for Thundercats, and he's playing on this off lane Nature's Prophet. We'll see if they ended up being a dual lane with the Abaddon in mid right now. But it does look like a safe lane try for Shadows of the Past. F4L on the Shadow Shaman. Fun on the Wraith King, as well as who I believe is Lua on this 1 position Mirana. Could be I Annihilate as well, but I believe it's Lua. We'll call him MJW fan for now. 1 position Mirana here. We've got a mid Alk from I Annihilate. It isn't. It is I Annihilate in the mid. Generally the 2 player. And 3 Nayrok in the offlane Doom. He should have a pretty good time. So we do see Abaddon early in the mid lane supporting up Reality here. Not sure exactly why that is. There isn't much kill potential here. He doesn't drop a ward in lane. There is a Radiant Ward observing the rune as well as the high ground here. So we do have Chrysalid posturing up behind. A little bit of harass. Ancient, or Arcane Bolt I should say, going out into Nayrok. And I did miss First Blood in the bottom lane, so the Nature's Prophet will go down. Sorry about that, guys. He will get caught out with a shackle into an arrow. Wraithfire Blast, so lots of disable in this lane. Definitely something to be worried about. Doom should do fine. He does have a lot of raw HP and doesn't have too many consumables though, but with the Scorched Earth he should be able to keep himself in lane. He does have a Clarity. He even grabs up a last hit here, so we'll see. It does end up being a dual lane for the bottom. This Abaddon of Chrysalid will be here to support up DK as he grabs some last hit, perhaps disrupts the pulls. It looks like there will be a pull through from Fun here, and there is. Mid lane matchup going pretty well for the Alchemist with that Acid Spray lane presence there. We're going to see DK look on the Nature's Prophet to go disrupt this pull with the Tree Ants and drag the creep wave back to his tower. So well played by him to grab himself some experience. We'll see if Chrysalid stays here to soak some of that up with him, as he's a little bit underleveled at this point. We have the Nature's Prophet as well as the Abaddon sitting at level 1, and only the Wraith King on the Radiant side sitting at level 1. There is no vision here because of this large camp block up by Thundercats, so they don't have vision of the Shadow Shaman as well as the Wraith King roaming in, so that's perhaps why you see Reality a little further back. See if there's an initiation here from F4L. It doesn't seem to be, as there is an aphotic shield to remove any negative buffs. They will go in on Nayrok on the top lane. He will pop the Scorched Earth and look to back out a couple orbs, as well as the Arcane Bolt from the Skywrath going to go into him for harass. The bottle is brought down here for Reality in mid lane. It looks like he will be crowing with Sing Sing, carrying his bottle for him, the Beaver Knight. So he does bottle up here. drops his null talisman for a little bit more effectiveness from those chargers, and he will send his bottle back to base. So I Annihilate doing extremely well, 14 for 2 up against the 12 and 4 of the DP in the mid lane. So as a melee hero, doing really well in this matchup. There will be some harass going out into Nayrok. Concussive shot, arcane bolt, and there's a TP in, cancelled actually by DK here, so not needed. Didn't want to soak up more experience away from Guanzo as well as Salen, and they pick up a return kill for revenge on the first blood against the offlaner of Shadows of the Past. So both offlaners going down once. Nayrok going down to a dual lane, whereas DK went down to a tri-lane, but he has rotated in Chrysalid to help him out here. Mirana doing really well on the CS board, 22 for 1. Really well in this safe lane, but his laning equivalent is Guanzo on this Viper. He has a kill as well as 22 for 9 up on this Viper. Of course, denies not as significant as they used to be in Dota 2, but certainly stealing some farm from this Doom. Doom is sitting at level 3 with the Nature's Prophet actually sitting a little less at level 2 because of the setup of the Radiant Jungle and the pulls from these supports, as well as him dying early. So it looks like we will have some more crowing from Reality. Not doing extremely well in this lane, but holding her own. She may... Actually, I Annihilate will look to rotate bottom and grab up this invisibility rune. So he's got 2 levels in Concoction as well as 3 in Acid Spray. We'll see if he looks to make any rotations to gank here, but with this Abaddon in the bottom lane, not the ideal situation for a gank. MJW will posture up on DK here. He has 2 levels in the Starfall, but with the Aphotic Shield to back him up, not going to get overly aggressive. And Mistcoil will heal up DK here. So things looking good in the bottom lane for Shadows of the Past. There is a rotation from the Shadow Shaman as well as the Wraith King towards mid. Reality in a pretty good position, however. There is an invisibility rune on I Annihilate, but he's not going to pop this anytime soon as he is envisioned. There is a wrap around from Fun as well as F4L. A Reality in a great position. The wave actually backing up to his tower, and he will back up behind it. And he's pretty tanky, sitting at 800, but if he catches a Shackle, Wraith Fire Blast, and Stable Concoction combo will surely go down. They also notice that Mirana is solo in this safe lane, so Reality playing it pretty safe, knowing that the supports are missing out of this lane, and that this ward in the large camp gives them indication that they are not currently pulling, at least pulling through, if not. But he does come forward here, and a Wraith Fire Blast is going to hit him first. It's going to be followed up with the Unstable Concoction and the Shackle, and a few right clicks will bring him down, and a TP in from Salen is just too little too late. I Annihilate with this Chemical Rage up. Gonna look to actually put some punishment into him for TPing. A rotation up from Chrysalid as well is a little too late. We'll see if they look to take some farm from this mid lane, but probably not. We'll see if MJW looks to go in. He actually salves up in the tree line. There is an Orb of Venom up on DK here, so have to wait till that debuff expired, and Reality will TP back into the mid lane. 38 for 8 on this Mirana, 37 for 14 on the Viper of Guanzo, and Reality actually exactly tied with CS with I Annihilate, but he does have that 1 kill to his name. So we take a look at the net worth. The Viper is leading, but followed closely by the Mirana and the Alchemist in this mid lane, and I Annihilate is actually backing up Reality as well as Chrysalid here, so he's getting real cocky in this 2v1. He's going to end up stunning himself here, but they don't realize that it's been casted, so they're not going to posture up on him. A little bit of I was going to say pulling going on from Salen, but he'll actually smoke up with a 2-1-1 build and look to go for Nayrok here in the top lane, who has his Tranquils as well as Scorched Earth and the Unholy Aura from the Satyr here. So he's pretty tanky. He's got a good set of regen here. He should be fine. There's some pulling going on in the bot lane. So some great solo XP picked up from this Mirana here. She's sitting at level 6, just underneath the Death Prophet as well as the Alchemist, and tied with the Viper at level 6, but she's about to ding 7 here. F4L gonna posture up in this lane. He does not have his level 6 yet, not even level 5, so they surely cannot go for a push yet, especially with the help of the Tree Ants to pull away this wave. I Annihilate doing really well in mid. He's got his phase boots up as well as building into this mech, so not too far off. He needs the chainmail for this buckler as well as the recipe, so I'd say about 1100 gold off if my rough math is correct. 900 for that recipe, another 250 for that chainmail. So phase boots are going to be picked up on DK, so he's not doing too poorly now. He'll be able to survive up a lot better against this tri-lane of Shadows of the Past. So pretty passive early game from these two teams. Two pretty standout teams in the group stage. Looks to be the story of the early game that Reality has not really got what he wanted in this top lane. There is a Moonlight Shadow going on the top lane, and Doom is committed on Guanzo. They're going to take down Salem with an unstable concoction and chase down Guanzo with ease. There is a port in from DK here, but he can do nothing but back up. Can he sprout up I Annihilate? He can, but a shockwave from the Nayrok will finish it off Guanzo here, and DK will look to go into the trees and perhaps sprout TP. His TP is on cooldown for a very long time. He looks to juke out I Annihilate here, and TP in the fog, and he will get away, so well played from DK there. His TP into the top lane, not very useful. In fact, actually denies him some farm, and F4L will find some experience in the mid lane. One more wave should get him up his level 6, and MJW will put some harassment, some chip damage into this T1 bottom. So wins everywhere on the map for Shadows of the Past. It is 5-1 up for them. Really, just better movement out of them. Their supports are certainly a more aggressive tandem, having the Shadow Shaman as well as the Wraith King against an Abaddon and Skywrath. So Abaddon and Skywrath, kind of two heroes that do opposite things in a sense. One with a lot of harass, a silence, another with a very defensive toolkit. We'll see Fun at level 5 as well as F4L rotate behind this tier 1 bottom. They're going to look for DK to defend this, but he's simply got his treants here. He's actually not microing them to pull the wave. They are posturing up top to look to trade the T1 for T1 combo here. However, Shadows of the Past can certainly go for 2 towers if they blow this one up quick with the Shadow Ward. So we'll see if F4L commits it here. He probably won't. We'll actually have the T1s in the offlanes going down about simultaneously for both these teams. There is a fort top, but no TPs on either F4L or MJW. There is one for Fun, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to get here in time. They do go for 2, as I mentioned, with the use of the Serpent Wards. We do have Chrysalid, we do have Salen TPing in on the Skywrath as well as Guanzo. An arrow does go out and will hit Guanzo as he TPs in, but it's not necessarily from long range, so a couple seconds stun there will just deter them or dissuade them from looking to defend this directly into a team fight, and they will just clean up these wards which are fed to them. But about half of the damage of that T2 in the offlane going down for the Thundercats, so they're not looking extremely good in this early game. They're actually down by 5,000 in the net worth and as well as about that in experience. So really good early game for the Shadows of the Past squad. They're looking pretty solid. Their movement and their coordination is very on point. Actually, are there 2 points in skills here from the Wraithfar? He doesn't seem to be holding on to skill points, so interesting build from him, not grabbing up the lifesteal for perhaps what is an early Roshan lineup if there's a medallion built here. But they're Salen and Chrysalid are postured up in the bot lane. They both are pretty damn poor as supports right now. Unstable Concoction going to go in on Reality mid. They have the Shackle follow-up, but there is a TP in here from Chrysalid. He will drop the Aphotic Shield, and that will deter the push here. Guanzo does throw a Viper Strike out, and there's a TP that is cancelled mid. Oh, actually, the Skywrath did go down by the Mirana in the other lane. He must have been TPing and got hit by an arrow. They do find a return kill on the Alchemist. Very high priority kill there, as the Alchemist was just did by his mech though, so that's not a huge loss for them, but they will posture up mid and look to push, and Guanzo will TP back to defend top tower from Nayrok. There is one last hit from this siege. A couple last hits will actually bring it into deny range, and they will also take a tower mid, so good trade around the map there for TC. They defend their top tower. They will get the deny here from Guanzo. Very close, actually. The siege almost takes it out. And so Nayrok with a Doom as well as Fun posturing up top lane to perhaps go on Guanzo, who does retreat into his own jungle. So they do get a tower, a kill on the Alchemist. They lose a kill on the Skywrath. Solo kill actually to this Mirana. So Mirana at level 10 above everyone in the game right now in terms of experience. But they do grab up the mid. They deny their top tower. So overall, a small win for TC there actually. And you'll see the graph actually level out, so they do stop the hemorrhaging, so to speak, or the bleeding for now. So we'll see a little bit of item progression here. There is a Midas on this Mirana. She has Phase Aquila Midas as well as Gloves of Haste, so it looks like she'll build into a Maelstrom here. There are Arcanes and 1,400 gold actually on F4L, so he's doing extremely well for support. The supports of Thundercats are extremely poor right now. Just this rotating Chrysalid Abaddon has not gotten much done, as well as the Salen, so there will be Serpent Wards committed bottom. There is an Ancient Seal into a Mystic Flare from Salen, as well as an Arcane Bolt, and one more right click will bring down the carry Mirana. So this is an awesome solo kill for Salen here with the use of that Mystic Flare, and they'll actually be able to clean up these Serpent Wards and deny the tower. So huge plays coming out from Salen here bottom to grab up a kill that will get him halfway through his level 8. So just as I was talking about him being poor, he makes a big play on the Mirana. Unfortunately for MJW, gets a little arrogant there, knowing how far ahead she is in terms of experience and net worth on everyone, and is not able to leap out in time with the Ancient Seal silencing her up. So we do have SP Fun. Shadow of the Past Fun is pretty damn poor here on this 5-position Wraith King. We do have a mech, bottle, phase boots, and 1,000 gold up on Annihilate, so they'll posture up mid and take this tower, presumably for free. And we do see Guanzo with a responding mech of his own, as well as Treads and Aquila, so he can look to deny attempt here. There is a TP in from Reality, as well as from Chrysalid, so they will look to deny this, and actually Annihilate will get it. He'll cop a few right clicks as well as a Crypt Swarm, but Wraith Fire Blast into Reality will deter their aggression here. There is a TP in the bot lane from Annihilate. He does not have an Unstable Concoction already queued up here, but we will see if DK looks to get a little bit greedy, and he looks for that deny, and actually Annihilate will be able to deny it up, so good patience from him. Unfortunately, DK not in a position to take that last hit. He will retreat into his jungle for now. There will be a fight over this haste rune here, but Reality will pick it up with ease, as being the ranged hero and the much faster Death Prophet with these phase boots, already almost at max movement speed with the phase boots active, sitting at a base of 395 with his items here. A no talisman, as well as a Staff of Wizardry and Bracer in his inventory, so look to be going into the Yules. There is a blink coming out here from Annihilate, so that's a lot of initiation power, and he's tanky with the Chemical Rage as well as the mech and a few bottle chargers in his pocket. So that's a good form of initiation here for Shadows of the Past. They do dominate the net worth chart currently at their top 3, all 3 of their cores at the top of the chart, almost immediately followed by the 3 cores of Thundercats. However, the story so far this early game is that this DP is pretty underfarmed. Solo mid farm 2,000 behind the safe lane farm of the Mirana MJW. Will look to find an arrow here mid. Posturing up a few stop casts. There is a Wraith Fire Blast here, but the Ancient Seal, as well as the Mystic Flare and the Wrath of Nature coming through on MJW. She will pop the Moonlight Shadow, so the silence will not get off by Reality here, but there is a TP in from DK, and they will find the Wraith King with a quick sprout. A very aggressive jump in here from Annihilate, and the Exorcism will be popped from Reality, and they'll clean him up for free. So not sure if there was a miscommunication between the team there. There was a blink available on F4L to follow up, but his mana and health pool just not looking too good, and they will go immediately into the Roche Pit with this Treants and this Exorcism. So great play there from TC. Actually, just a real misplay from Annihilate there, jumping in mid overzealously without the rest of his team there. So as I was saying, this Blink, Mech, Bottle, Chemical Rage combo making him a little overconfident as to his tankiness and his health pool, and they will take a Roche for free for the Thundercats after getting a few free gifts mid from Shadows of the Past, and that will pretty much catch up the Death Prophet from her poor start, and she's sitting at 6,200 net worth. Of course, eventually you will always see a Doom dominate the net worth with this ability to Devour that he has skilled up to 4. He did not opt to go for minus this game, but he's already into a Vlad's as well as his Tranquils, Bracers, and a Plate Mill with 2,300 gold. So we'll look to see if he goes into immediate Shivas or a Blink here from Nayrok. They do look to push this mid tower, knowing that Exorcism is down for another 40 seconds, but that is not simply long enough. So we'll see if Annihilate queues up an Unstable Concoction here. He just puts a few right clicks into the tower. MJW chasing down DK here. He does not fire an arrow blindly into the forest, so there will be a TP out from DK. Good on him to keep that TP on him. He's just a recipe away from this Maelstrom here, so looking good for Thundercats despite their poor start. There is a TP in the top lane. They will find Annihilate here. Is there a silence? There is a Viper Strike from Annihilate as well as a concussive shot. Mystic Flare going to finish him off. He won't even get off his Unstable Concoction before dying, and Nayrok will throw in a Doom Illusion just to see if he can soak up some spells. So Annihilate, after doing extremely well in the early game in the mid lane, has fed a few pretty poor looking kills here. Didn't look like he could get much, actually farming deep into the dire jungle here. He had vision from this observer ward, so figured he was safe, but they actually rotate in from the low ground and find him out with a silence open up from Reality, as well as Salen's concussive shot coming in. He TP'd in due time, very timely manner, and they will clean up Annihilate there, so really looking good. The graphs will tell the story. For a 5,000 experience lead from Shadows of the Past dwindled down to about 1,000, almost equilibrium there. They still have about a 5,000 gold lead, but at one point this was at 7,500. A Yule's up on Nayrok, as well as a Crypt Swarm will just keep him back from dooming up this Reality. Gets him to pop his Scorched Earth early. We'll see if Nayrok looks to take down the DP here, but with her movement speed, she can easily get away. 395 up against the 406 of the Doom with Scorched Earth pop, so she would have got away with ease if he had doomed her, and I believe Nayrok realized that, knowing that he only had a few seconds left on the duration of his Scorched Earth. So we'll see what he looks to pick up here. He does grab the early Shiva, so it looks like we're going to see sort of a 5-man from Shadows of the Past here. If he was to grab the Blink, they perhaps would have looked at pickoffs before pushing, but he's already with the 2 auras up of the Shivas and the Vladimirs. A very tanky Doom at 1400 health in 19 minutes of this game. We'll see if Annihilate looks to queue up his unstable concoction here. Reality very, very smartly backs off. Some good game sense. There is a sentry ward here, but no observer to couple it with, so she was unable to see that the entire team of Shadows of the Past was behind Annihilate. There will be a couple simultaneous pushes here. Sentry Serpent wards dropped on this mid T2, so they're going to take it down more quickly than Thundercats are going to take down this bot lane. The Acid Spray actually will clean up the treants in this bottom lane, and it looks like TC will back up and pop up the Exorcism here, so they'll clean up this tower with relative ease, but they are putting chip damage into their T3 with MGW Fan. There is a TP here from Reality. She has the Exorcism pop, so she'll clean up the wave by herself as the rest of her team backs off in unison. Guanzo will look to this top lane to find Nayrok out, but he will not. It looks like he may have DC'd. No, he is right-clicking here, so he will not find a Viper Strike onto Nayrok. Nayrok will get out unscathed, and we will have F4L rotating through the dire jungle. He will find an invisibility here. He plants down a nice ward, so they have some pretty good aggressive vision I should say, from Shadows of the Past here, and so does Thundercats as well. They can see this Mirana farming. They cannot see this Doom, but they will momentarily as he rotates around the tree line here. So pretty symmetrical vision for both teams here, having a rune ward as well as a deep jungle ward. Enemy jungle ward, I should say. There is a sentry in this off lane for Thundercats. They will look to rotate into the jungle visible, so no smoke here from the Thundercats, but an aggressive ROTK style TP from DK will be just too late, as there is a blink up on this Wraith King, so excellent from him. But they will find Nayrok in the mid lane, and he will get Ancient Sealed up, Mystic Flared up, and killed with the combo of Salen and Reality here. So excellent plays there. They find out the Nayrok without using smoke. There is a Yule's Phase, Plate Mail, Bracer, as well as the Aegis, which is about to expire in 2 minutes for this DP. So, 1 minute I should say. 5 from the spawn time, or 6 from the spawn time. So, they will look to push down mid lane with Exorcism up in 10 seconds. There is Annihilate as well as Fun postured up to flank them from behind, but they can see that MJW and F4L are in the top lane, so they put halfway 50% damage into this T2 mid, and they look to take it for free without the use of Exorcism. So we'll see if TC looks to go high ground here, but they're not extremely healthy. They don't have enough mana for the Mystic Flare on Salem, but they zealously look to go in with vigor here. There is a TP from Nayrok. He does not have Doom, or he does not have Blink, but he does have the Shiva's Guard. We'll see if he pops it here. He just looks to devour a creep, and the creep wave will get cleaned up quickly here by TC. We'll see if there's some initiation here. There is the Shiva's Guard that does go out. There's no Doom yet, and it would be a poor choice to pop it on Reality, as he already has Exorcism up. Really only stops the silence and some burst damage from the crypt form. So they will back out here. No one will get picked off on the backside. There are no TPs stopped unless Guanzo's is stopped here, and it is not. They will look to defend their top lane from the split pushing F4L. Very Mystico-esque from this Dota 2 Canada Cup here, but He does pick up his Blink, and he's halfway to his Aghanim Scepter here, about 2,000 gold away on F4L. If we look at their item progression for both teams, there is a Blade Mail up on I Annihilate, as well as we have MJW building into presumably her BKB here with her Maelstrom up. So item progression certainly halted for this Mirana, having to defend up mid lane as well as having to rotate around the map out of her jungle before. So there is a little bit of catching up happening from TC, as they did pick up that mid engagement as well as the Roche. So 1,800 gold up on this Death Prophet. He must have just bought something. We'll see if there's something coming out on the courier here. There's a chainmail. There's an assault cuirass being built by this reality here. So definitely going to help out versus some of the right click Mirana, Alchemist, Wraith King, Doom, and or Doom from this Shadows of the Past lineup, and will also help with the Exorcism here as it is physical damage. So I really like this pickup. Definitely something unorthodox you see from a DP, but the only other hero you would see perhaps build this is maybe the MP very late into the game. He's gone for a Recovery Midas a little later than most of the heroes, but he has his Maelstrom as well as his Blink, so a little bit of the recent Bulldog build out here from DK. Definitely not going to see this Bone 7 type build with the Blade Mail and a couple of Null Talismans and Treads, but we do see the Aghanims come out for Guanzo, so that's a very big pickup. Spammable Viper Strike here will keep Alchemist, Alchemist, Doom, and the Wraith King, the melee right clickers from Shadows of the Past, kited around, as well as the Blink pickup from Doom. So opts to go for Shivas and then Blink on Nayrok as opposed to the opposite. I feel like an earlier Blink would have got a little more done from them, but considering that Thundercats are going for this Death Ball strat, this very popular strat in our meta, perhaps the Shivas was good for them earlier game, but no significant Dooms have been popped onto any high priority targets here yet, as I can remember. The Exorcism is popped. They're going to posture up to look at this bottom lane. There's a lot of support in the back lines with the Blink from this NP. Arrow does fly and is going to whiff, so they will grab this tower for free. There is a Blink in from Fun, but he's not going to get anything done. Actually just cops a 50% of his HP being absolutely mangled by this Exorcism, and it looks like they'll take the rest of the duration of this Exorcism and look to defend, as F4L is again split pushing top lane. He's got 1,400 gold to his name and a Blink, so he'll get out with ease here and look to pick up perhaps that Staff of Wizardry, which he does, and he'll be 600 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. So take a look at the graphs here, guys. We've got 3,000 gold lead and about a 6k net worth lead and a 3k experience lead for Shadows of the Past, so they're still in good shape. However, I believe TC's transition into the late game is actually probably a bit worse, being as there are 4 cores on Shadows of the Past. Wraith King can definitely transition later, and he's actually caught up a bit in farm. He does have this Blink Dagger here. He's only sitting at level 8, which is unfortunate. Actually, him and the Abaddon has even passed him from what is just an abysmal start on this support Abaddon. So Wraith King really affected by his need to rotate and being picked off there in the mid lane earlier on, as well as I Annihilate there. So he is definitely playing a hard 5 here. There is a level 2 Serpent Ward's up here, but he will get the Hex off, and the arrow will fly and hit Reality, who is Ward Trap, but the Mystic Flare as well, and Arcane Bolt, and one more right click will bring down the Shadow Shaman. A very nice aphotic shield to keep Reality up, and DK puts some right click into MJW fan, but he will pop the BKB to avoid this Arcane Bolt and will get away here. I Annihilate on the backside with an Unstable Concoction queued up, gonna look to throw this on Salan. He does blink in, throw this on Salan, Acid Spray, and one right click, one more right click. There is a miscoil here from Chrysalid's Abaddon to try and save Salan there, but him as well as Reality, the Death Prophet, will go down there. So excellent trade there for Shadows of the Past. They only end up losing the Shadow Shaman, and they pick up 3. So a little bit of an aggressive TP in there, from DK on the Nature's Prophet, trying to man up against that Mirana, and all the meanwhile, Nayrok split pushing the bottom lane. He's not able to put any any significant chip damage into this T3. We will get a pause out here from Nayrok, but just a poor engagement there top from TC. The very timely Hex, actually, from F4L. He got a Hex off before Reality got a silence off their top, so Hex Ward Trap into that DP put a lot of damage into her and forced the Abaddon to use some of his toolkit on the DP just to keep him up. Not sure if this Abaddon has a Force Staff, or if anyone on this team has a Force Staff, or they just, yeah, there is a Force Staff from Salen, so he was the one who rotated in and forced Reality out of those wards, but still a poor engagement. Ends up being a 3-for-1 for Shadows of the Past, and you can definitely see that happen on the experience graph. A big spike up from that top lane engagement back to about 5k experience lead for Shadows of the Past, as well as 5k gold. And there will be, so goal called from Nayrok, so the game will resume here. There is a BKB up for an I Annihilate, so he's going to look to do a lot in this team mites. He's got both a BKB and a poor man's BKB with this Blade Mail armed and ready in his inventory. So I Annihilate looking really good here, topping out the net worth. They do have a Doom who's going to maintain his position on the net worth for sure. Fun still lacking, sitting at 3,800, but he's well beating Chrysalid, who has Tranquils and a Magic Stick at 27 minutes into the game. So Thundercats certainly on the back foot here, not looking quite as strong as they did in the group stage. So arrow will fly from this Mirana. Looks to
Just what are you hiding?
Yeah, it does hit Roshan, so just a scouting arrow from MJW here. We will see a posture up mid from TC. We'll see if they look to go in on I Annihilate, who does have a blink, and he will blink out. Seeing quite a few heroes here from Thundercats, so smart decision from him. We'll see it poured into the, actually a cancelled poured in from DK into the Roche pit. They will scout this out and find no one here. So there is a poured in from DK. They will look to take this. We'll see if they pop the Exorcism for this. They drop the Treants. There is no medallion on their side, but it looks like Shadows of the Past are pretty out of position to defend this. However, they do have the BKB on Annihilate, but there's already 50% taken out of this Roche, and he will drop real quick with the Curse of Avernus, helping all the teammates attack quicker. So, very well played by them. There does look to be an initiation here. Blink in, Shiva's Guard, Doom onto DK. Exorcism is popped, but the Blade Mail is up on Annihilate. They will bring down the reincarnation of Fun here, but Chrysalid gonna look to have his ult pop, and an Unstable Concoction will go into DK. DK still ticking down, and these wards doing work here, but no one dying yet. Concussive Shot and a few orb attacks will go into F4L, and he will be the first casualty of this engagement, and it looks like everyone willing to disengage at this point, so excellent fight for TC there. They lose no one. They kill off the Shadow Shaman, so a lot of sustain with that mechanism and the Aghanims up on Viper, as well as the ultimate from Abaddon keeping him alive. Aphotic shields going on everywhere. DK was able to, as soon as he got doomed, walk up the hill and out of vision and walk back down into the engagement later when there was not enough focus on him. So Thundercats get the Aegis and they get one for free, as well as the Doom being popped. Of course, not an extremely long cooldown, only at about a minute at this point. It is 80 seconds. On level 2. 2,300 gold though sitting on this Doom. That was the 10-second BKB popped from I Annihilate, so he's down to a 9-second charge, but he's sitting on 2,200 gold. So Shadows of the Past still looking pretty good here. However, they do lose that engagement. The first Ags Serpent Wards were revealed here in Thundercats, so they do know that that Aghanims is up on this Shadow Shaman, but just not enough disable in that area to make those Serpent Wards effective enough. The fact that Thundercats were able to get out of the pit before the engagement start really helped them out. An Unstable Concoction within the pit, as well as the Serpent Wards, would have done a lot more work had they been up in that choke point. So they will smoke and come up ground, and they will find Fun here for free. He does blink out, though, before any Viper Stripe or right click, and the Moonlight Shadow will cover him from NJW. So wow, smoke gank averted there for Fun. So excellent reaction time by him. It doesn't seem that they are weary of Nayrok standing in the trees here, so he doesn't have too much mana, but he will look to back out and do so with ease. So they will have a retreat here from the Thundercats. There will be some split pushing going on from I Annihilate. He's sitting on 3,200 gold, so we'll see what he looks to build into next, whether it be a Maelstrom into a Mjolnir, which I think is a pretty good pickup here. Skyros Mage actually takes out, so they found out Fun here bottom, and an aggressive TP in from DK with a Sprout, and the Yules up in the air will have enough time to rotate in the rest of the team. We'll see if they have enough damage to bring down Nayrok. They do not. Oh, they do. Wow, he ticks out from the Viper Strike, so just before the Fountain Heals can get going on him, He does take out, so really nice set of pickoffs there, bottom from the Thundercats. Sorry, I missed that first kill on the Wraith King. He was actually killed off while I was looking at I Annihilate split pushing here and contemplating which item he will go into. There actually is a Mjolnir out on this MJW's Mirana here, so Hex and an Unstable Concoction will go out on Guanzo, but the Aphotic Shield will protect him up, and the Viper Strike will go out on Annihilate, so he'll be slowed down. Aggressive TP in again from DK. He'll get healed up and Aphotic Shield after being ward trapped by F4L, but he'll be taken down from the piercing damage of the Serpent Wards, and Annihilate will TP out under the protection of his BKB, as well as F4L blinking out into the tree line and TPing away, so they get one for free in the top lane. Again, some aggressive TPs all game long from DK on this Nature Prophet. Very ROTK reminiscent here, but he does have 3,500 gold, as well as he used his Midas is on cooldown while he is dead. It will be on cooldown for around 15 seconds. Off cooldown, I should say, for around 15 seconds while he's dead, so he loses a little bit of economy there, but he'll look to pick up his sheep pretty soon, already sitting with the ultimate orb here in his inventory. So item progression looking good for both sides. Unfortunately, I Annihilate's BKB already down to 8 seconds. So as this game progresses, 8 seconds at 32 minutes is not bad at all, and it's certainly nothing to shake a stick at. 8 seconds as well on MJW's Mirana. She does have the Mjolnir up, so we'll see what I Annihilate looks to build into. Perhaps an AC of his own for his team, unless Nayrok is building into that, which it doesn't seem he is. He doesn't have a plate mail, so there is the sheep that comes out for DK here. He's not going to save buyback. He's going all in. So he's got this sheep up, going to use his Midas, and the AC does come out, as mentioned, for I Annihilate. So AC's on both sides here. A lot of positive armor coming out for both, as well as the negative, so those will balance out. We haven't seen the item progression of Reality in a while. He's actually sitting on a Vitality Booster and a Reaver here, so he's about 800 away from a full heart if he does not choose to save for buyback, so looking really fat on this DP. He is sitting at 14,000 net worth underneath the Mirana, as well as I Annihilate and his teammate DK here, so things still looking good for both sides. All outer tier towers have been eliminated, so it comes down to the high ground push here. There is more sustain on Thundercats, so if they do not get jumped upon and picked off with this Doom or this Unstable Concoction into an arrow, they're looking really good for the team fights with the ability to keep up this Death Prophet and use the full effectiveness of the Exorcism, as well as this Viper, who's really tanky at this point, sitting on an Aghanims, Power Treads, and Mechanism. He does have his Yash up, so it seems to be perhaps a Manta style for Guanzo here. He could be looking to go for a Lincoln Sphere against this Doom. Not a terrible choice, but it doesn't seem that he's going to be the Doom target of these fights, so I would like to see a Manta here. Can definitely dodge a stun, or disable a stun, or something along those lines, perhaps a Hex from the Shadow Shaman. So DK farming up Ancients here. Looks like there's going to be a high ground defense from Thundercats. I Annihilate will go down to the front lines. He'll cop a Viper Strike, but with the Mjolnir, as there is a silence from the DP, and the Wrath of Nature comes in. The Serpent Wards are going to be dropped here. There is a Sprout on 2, and the Mystic Flare will mostly whiff, so they're just going to take free chip damage at this tower with the Blade Mail up, taking a lot of damage from Guanzo. The Doom onto Chrysalid will bring down the Abaddon quick, and the Unstable Concoction will go into Guanzo. He'll get cleaned up. He'll buy back immediately. Reality standing in the front lines with this Exorcism will go down soon. She will take the Shadow Shaman with her, but she does not have buyback at this point on the DP, so they will bring down Guanzo again. That is a rampage for MJW and a dieback for this Viper. So they call the GG in game 1 for the Thundercats. Free lane of racks and very well executed from Shadows of the Past. So heavy underdog coming into this game at around 30%. In fact, 27 on Dota 2 Lounge. So well played from them. Very nice engagement top. They were able to take down priority targets real quick, so putting up I Annihilate in the front lines there does pay off. He had that BKB as well as the Blade Mail, so was not afraid with Chemical Rage popped and Acid Spray down to just chip into that tower and let TC come to them. So they do get the Doom off on Chrysalid, and that negates all their sustain in that engagement top, and that was pretty much the Achilles heel of their ability to team fight, is that bringing down that Abaddon there. So well played from Shadows of the Past. They're going to come in and upset a lot of people and their rares, so We'll be back soon, guys. We've got game two actually scheduled for 9 p.m. So it is currently 8:54 Eastern time. So should be back within five, guys. Not gonna have any music for you in between today. I'm using up these VODs, so I'm sorry for that. But thank you again for joining me. I am more Rage Please Dota, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, and this was Shadows of the Past. This is the Thundercats, the two North American squads, actually all American squads, in this first best of three in the Dota 2 Canada Cup playoffs. Thank you for joining me, guys. I will see you soon. Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. I am More Rage Please Dota, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, and this is our second game in the best of three in the quarterfinals of the Dota 2 Canada Cup. We have, once again for you, Shadows of the Past versus the Thundercats. So, game two here in game one, the 27% dog Shadows of the Past had the world say to them, "You are underneath the Thundercats. You are the underdog." And Shadows of the Past responded with, "Underneath you? Well, that's what your mother said last night." And took out the Thundercats in game one. So excellent game played by them. Actually, we had the captain of Shadows of the Past, Nayrock Dota, tweeting a minute ago. Let me check my Twitter for the exact words. "Hide your rares." If you want to check him out at Nayrock Dota. He knows they're the underdog in this game. Shadows of the Past well aware of that. But all the stakes here. Thundercats, after doing extremely well in the group stage, definitely under pressure here. They've got to win 2 games in a row. This is a single elimination bracket in the Dota 2 Canada Cup. There is no second chance, and that is how we do it in the North. So that's your Canadian Dota for you. Definitely excited for this, as I am a Canadian myself. So we'll see the Void as well as the Doom banned out from Shadows of the Past. So they're not going to use up the Doom in this game, but they don't want to see him in the enemy's hands. So we'll see a DP and a Brew ban from the Thundercats on the Radiant side. They will have the first pick here. So we'll look to see what direction they go with their draft. Perhaps they do something a little more unorthodox, which help them to beat the likes of Navi US in the group stage. Or we'll see them look to find perhaps more of their signature heroes here. Chrysalid, really an outstanding 5-player as well as 4-player for this Thundercat, depending on the support heroes they use. So hopefully they find something a little more impactful for Chrysalid this game. I've seen him play out of his mind before. Abaddon, generally not a hero you're able to play out of your mind with. Certainly a hero where you can make some big saves using that Aphotic Shield to take off things like Nightmare or Fiend's Grip. However, just a little bit underwhelming on that Abaddon, and it was more the pick than him that game. But they will open up the draft with the Shadow Salmon, so denying that up from Shadows of the Past again helped with a lot of split push, some team fight present, definitely some disable there, especially in that top engagement where they looked to take 3 onto F4L on his own. He got a Hex and a Ward Trap off on Reality's Death Prophet, and they were actually able to turn that fight extremely well. The Shadow Shaman did go down, but I believe they ended up getting a 3-for-1 trade, grabbing up the Death Prophet as well as the Nature's Prophet and the Skywrath Mage of Salen in that engagement. So there will be a Lycan on the Dire side, picked up from Shadows of the Past. So very scary already. 2 picks in. They pick up the Razor for the mid, a tanky team fight, a big-time team fight presence in the Razor there. So really good lineup in this game 2, in this possible elimination game for the Thundercats. Shadows of the Past looking scary early on. They will pick up the Jakiro on the Thundercats. I'm hoping for their sake that this is a core Jakiro. Jakoro. That's pretty good. I'm going to coin that. Jakoro is the core Jakiro. And the reason I say that is only because it's tough to show your hand here, reveal your supports extremely early, and not have your lineup countered up pretty hard. So there is a Nature's Prophet ban out from Shadows of the Past, as well as the Viper ban from the Thundercats and the Enigma ban. They will ban out the Centaur War Runner, so denying up a nice tanky offlaner or perhaps safe laner. I know a lot of the Chinese teams have been solo safe laning the Centaur to help him get farm in that early blink lately and going aggressive with their other 3 heroes. So we'll see what Shadows of the Past looks to respond with, and they will grab up the Skywrath. Definitely an effective support, definitely one with a slow to help out the Razor with his static link with that concussive shot, as well as the Lycan to get off some right clicks while in shapeshift. However, we see 3 heroes out from Shadows of the Past so far, 2 of them being a core, 2 of them being cores for sure, 1 presumably a support, and so far there is no disable from this lineup. So perhaps somewhat of a weak point for Shadows of the Past, but we will see
Dire
the
team
response
pick.
with the Venomancer from the Thundercats. So 3 potential supports here. One of them will certainly be a core. We'll see if it ends up being Jakiro or the Venomancer here. There is quite a versatile lineup here from the Thundercats, so they will get some anti-push and some positive push in their direction with the Venomancer, with the Plague Wards. We'll see if he looks to go a 1-1-4 build, which is pretty common
10 seconds remaining.
for Venomancers in the pro scene these days. Of course, picking up his
5
ultimate whenever
seconds
available.
remaining.
So really pretty wide open lineups from both
Reserve
sides.
time.
As I said, perhaps a weak point of Shadows of the Past is they are lacking Disable currently. We'll see if they look to rectify that issue with this 4th pick phase here. Excuse me, been casting a little bit parched. I don't know how Toby feels. He's been doing 15-hour days, but we will test my endurance soon. In the next phase of these playoffs, we're gonna have
Radiant
2 best of
team
3s
pick.
in one day. So they will pick up the Naga on Shadows of the Past. So we'll see if this ends up being a 1-position Naga. I would certainly like to see that, but definitely as well a good roaming combo with the Riptide, with the net, as well as the Arcane Bolt spam, the Concussive Shot, the Ancient Seal, going to help out that Riptide. I believe Riptide is magical damage. It is. So
10
the Ancient Seal
seconds
definitely going to
remaining.
amplify that damage. So we could see this Naga Siren go both ways. Naga
5
Siren
seconds
definitely a
remaining.
hero countering up the Venomancer and the Jakiro in the sense that
Reserve
when you pop
time.
that Poison Nova and that Macro Pyre, they can look to sleep and disengage or sleep and waste the duration of
Dire
those
team
ultimates.
ban.
We're going to see a DK pickup from the Thundercats, so something a little Russian-esque, I would say. Something definitely picked up often by the likes of NVMI, Empire, and Virtus Pro. Is this DK. So that's going to offer them a little bit of a disable, a little more tower push, so really
10
push heavy
seconds
lineup coming out from
remaining.
Thundercats. We're definitely going to see a Death Ball, having the
5
Liquid
seconds
Fire, the Plague
remaining.
Wards, as well as the Poison from the Dragon Knight to tick down on
Reserve
these
time.
towers. So we do have the Lycan for split push. We do have the Naga to help set up engagements with her sleep. Song of the Siren there. So we'll see how this plays out. Really interesting drafts from both teams so far. We'll indicate by the bans what the Thundercats believe about this Naga Siren, whether or not it is a core or a support. Not sure. Naga Siren is one of those almost beyond 1-position heroes. Where I would put her, where I would put the Tinker, where in the last
Radiant
meta I would have
team
put
ban.
Arteezy's Shadow Fiend, where you see a lot of the supports sort of stacking camps for her, leaving the jungle for her, and whereas she kind of takes farm priority all over the map,
Dire
that may
team
hinder the
pick.
Lycan's ability here. So just because of the Lycan pick, I'm going to say it is a Naga Siren support. That is my guess here. Certainly not an expert on the matter, but because of the Lycan and the space that he needs, and certainly his uncomfortability in the offlane, we could see a mid Lycan though with a Razor offlane. Still a little bit unorthodox, but not unfathomable. And so I'm going to say it's a Naga support. We'll
10
see
seconds
within
remaining.
a minute or so. They do have a minute of reserve time on Shadows of the Past, but we'll see
5 seconds
what they look to
remaining.
do. There is a Wraith King ban from the Thundercats, so doesn't tell us much,
Reserve
as the Wraith
time.
King could have been a core as well as a support, but I'm guessing they were banning a Wraith King support because, as I mentioned last game, with all their kite ability here, with the disables from the Shadow Shaman, the Ice Path, the Liquid Fire Slow from Jakiro, the Gale, and the Poison Nova from the Venomancer, you're not gonna really invest all your damage into this 1-position Wraith King. As well as them already having a Lycan, because he will be kited around. Lycan, certainly a hero that does not worry about slows so much with that shapeshift, so perhaps a weakness there in Thundercats lineup, having the Venos kit there, but they do have the disable from the Shadow Shaman as well as the Dragon Tail from the DK here, so we'll see how this pans out. I really think this Lycan
10
is
seconds
extremely
remaining.
strong still versus the lineup of the Thundercats. So we'll see if they look
5
to rectify
seconds
that issue
remaining.
with their 5th pick
They still need another core unless this Jakiro and Venomancer are cores. And they will pick up the Slark. So interesting picks here. Invoker will round out the lineup from Shadows of the Past. So there is a Naga Siren support. I was correct about that. Thank goodness I do know something about the game. Naga Siren and Lycan on the same lineup with a Razor, just far too greedy and almost going to encroach upon each other's sections of the map there. So certainly a good call from Shadows of the Past to tone down their greed, so to speak, and pick up a Naga Siren as a support role here. A little bit of lag in my Dota here. Sorry, guys. There is a pause here, so I'm not sure if it's only me or the servers. But we'll take a look at how this is going to be laned. It looks like we will have a Razor off lane as Nayrok has picked it up with I Annihilate in the 2-role mid on the Lycan, as well as the safe lane with MJW on the Invoker. So looks like we had a disconnect from Guanzo and a reconnect. He's going to pick up this Slark. It looks like this is going to be a one-position Slark, I should say. Reality is going to go mid on this beautiful Ascension set with this Dragonite. This thing is beautiful. I just don't have enough money to afford it. God damn, I want this set. Look at that thing. What a boss. Anyways, I'm going to stop marveling at that. It looks like we're going to have dual lanes come out here with Salen on the Shadow Shaman, Guanzo on the off lane Slark. Reality again in the mid on this Dragonite. Looks like he'll be building a Max Breathe Fire, looking to grab up some CS with that. However, he could potentially, something I like to do sometimes is to max out that Dragon Blood early, and with a melee versus melee matchup mid, he'll definitely have a good time if he does that. Chrysalid is going to be on this support Jakiro, and we will have a DK1 position Veno, but there are rotations here. 5-man smoke rotation from Shadows of the Past. We'll see if they find out DK here. There can be an Ice Path and a Gale skilled up. The smoke is popped, and we will have TC here. Thundercats rotate backwards and be safe about it. They will find this one pretty aggressive ward here. Not sure that this is going to block up. It doesn't seem, the fog here does not seem to indicate that this blocks up the hard camp, and this magic bush ward perhaps will block up this hard camp, and it will see the rune for Shadows of the Past there. So they get a little bit of aggressive warding done. They're going to see the movements from the supports from Thundercats unless they smoke in this general area here. Fortunately, I cannot draw on the mini-map because I'm in a ticket, but you guys get the point. A little bit of safe warding here in the off lane from Salen on that Shadow Shaman. He has given up this other ward to the Jakiro in the bot lane, so we'll see what Chrysalid decides to do with that. There are no sentries down anywhere on the map, and there is an aggressive try highlighting Nayrok's Razor, so he is actually a one-position Razor. We'll see the safe lane solo Invoker up against this Slark Shadow Shaman, so a lot of kill potential in this top lane versus this solo Invoker. I don't want to give up on this bot lane either, but there'll already be some harass out from Salen into MJW. And it looks like Chrysalid perhaps rotating top here. We'll see what he's doing. They do have DK all by his lonesome in this bot lane. He will come into the tree line and look to get soak a little bit of experience here. This mid lane will be I Annihilate on the Lycan up against Reality on his DK. So we'll see how this goes. A couple last hits secured from the Breathe Fire there. There is a rotation from Fun into the mid lane. He will drop a concussive shot here, but not going to get much done on Reality's DK. And he's actually couriered out his bottle already, so doing extremely well in the mid lane. Actually, he only bought up a couple GG branches and was pulled a couple tangos to start. Salen going to disrupt this pull here, grab some experience. MJW being extremely safe. They're actually rotating up Salen, so it will be dual lane versus dual lane. And that's interesting here. Razor support Naga Siren on F4L versus the core Veno and the support Chrysalid Jakiro here, as well as the mid matchup, as was noted, Salen's Shadow Shaman with Guanzo's Slark up against Fun's. Salen was Skyrad last game, so I was about to say Salen. There is an engagement here bottom. Static Link goes out onto DK, but the Gale will slow up the Naga Siren of F4L and Nayrok's Razor. Looks like a net as well as a Riptide and a Plasma Field were committed there. So still looking pretty healthy. Used up his salve, but it's got 4 consumables here in the bot lane for DK. Concussive shot goes out onto Salen. He'll probably cop some harass. Actually, no one does, but there was howled up images here, so perhaps I Annihilate in the bottom lane, or in the mid lane, using his wolves to last hit here. So we look at the CS board. I Annihilate dominating on the Lycan, 18-3, up against Reality's 8-1 on this DK. As well as the Slark doing well in the offlane, 13-3 up against the Razor of Nayrok, who's 11-0, 8-2 on this Vino, up against the 5-1 of the Invoker. So Invoker losing out early game, Reality losing out a bit on this DK early game, but other than that, everything pretty much going as expected. There is a pull here from Fun. He's going to pick up his level 2 on this Skywrath Mage, and there is going to be a nice duel up in this mid. But we'll see Salen rotate over and pick up a lot of experience from this wave. However, MJW will pick up almost a full wave of experience for sure, and perhaps last hit. As you see, it's pretty difficult to last hit underneath your tower here, so he will pick up a couple last hits here, and he will start to catch up a bit on that Invoker. Creep equilibrium in this bot lane, pretty favorable for Shadows of the Past, and it's pretty favorable for TC in this off lane here. So unusually, the creep's going the way of the off laning team in this game. They actually do end up pulling back, pulling their wave into the large camp here. It's going to be farmed up by MJW, but they do end up pulling their wave back underneath the tower for Guanzo here. Salen and Guanzo. Breathe Fire going to be cupped in the face by I Annihilate, but he's going to look to battle up against Reality. He's got two wolves here, and Reality's got to be real careful with his bottle coming back out. Actually, he knew his bottle was coming back out, but Fun is securing this rune here. Salen actually going to shackle him up. He's going to follow up with a Dragon Tail here. He does hit it, and the Breathe Fire will be enough to bring down this Fun's Skywrath Marriage, and that is your first blood for the beautiful-looking DK in the mid lane. Sorry, I really like this set, guys. Shout out to whoever made that thing. It's beautiful. But anyways, Invoker catching up a bit at 13-1 in the top lane. He's got Boots, Null Talisman, and Blades of Attack, so he's going to build into his phase boots. He does get hecked up here. He does get shackled. He's going to get leapt on, and Dark Pact is going to hit him, but he will queue up the Ghost Walk, invoke that, and a little bit of a unorthodox build coming out from Guanzo here. Not sure how often he's played Slark in a pro scene, but he's got 2 levels in the pounce. Generally, you only need 1 level in the pounce, as the distance is always the same, and the Dark Pact is really the bang for your buck in terms of scaling with levels. It does a hell of a lot of damage with a 300 nuke at level 4, so not sure it definitely wouldn't have awarded him the kill there for that build, so I'm not saying big time misplay or anything, but just not something I see often. Usually you see 1 level in the leash, a 4-1-4, as well as skilling the Shadow Dance whenever you can, because that spell is just damn good. Treads will come out for Reality here in the mid. He's doing pretty well, 19-2, but getting dominated in the CS by I Annihilate, who's doing really well in this mid lane. He will look to put some chip damage into this mid tower, but I Annihilate doing a great job to pull back the creep wave with his wolves there, and Reality will take some tower harass to the face. Bottle going to come out for I Annihilate here. He's going to pop another set of wolves and howl. There is no mana for a Breathe Fire on Reality's DK, even if he does Tread Swap here. So he will have his regeneration rune guarded by Salen top and his bottle on the way out in the courier, but he will just grab that up without bottling it, as he does not want to waste this dragon form. So gonna go straight back to the mid, probably Breathe Fire on this wave. Maybe he does not, but maybe looking to put a little bit more harass into this tower. His duration on his dragon form about to expire here, so doesn't get much done with dragon form level 1, but not a huge cooldown. It's 115 seconds, so certainly not small either, but he will do just fine in this mid lane, actually putting in about 40% damage on this mid tower. We'll see if they look to engage bottom lane. 0-2-2 build, 2-2-0 build on Nayrok, or sorry, on F4L and Nayrok respectively on this Naga Siren and Razor. So we will look to see Guanzo max out this pounce here. So again, like I said, a little bit unusual, especially when you have the setup of Salen's Shadow Shaman here, but Nevertheless, that is the way he's going. He's pretty poor on this. Shadow Shaman is Salen, sitting on Brown Boots, Magic Stick, and 600 gold. There is a poor man's shield as well as treads up on Guanzo. He's looking pretty healthy. Take a look at the net worth. He is second, right behind the Lycan by about 100 net worth. So Annihilate doing well in the mid lane, as is Reality here. Doesn't quite have as much CS, but he did grab the first blood gold from the Skywrath kill in mid lane, and he will pop the dragon form immediately again as it comes up. So very efficient use of his ultimate here. Fort going to be used mid just to bring down this creep wave. Reality trying to stay here and tank a bit with this siege creep still up, so hopefully he'll get a few more hits in from that siege creep. We'll put some harass into Annihilate. He's got his shapeshift up, so he'll be fine. As will most of these lanes at this point. Not too much kill potential for the Thundercats in this bot lane with a Jakiro DK Venomancer combo here. A little more kill potential in the top lane. And wow, Deny coming out with the Howl usage from Annihilate here, so very nice play for him. That'll deny up a lot of the influx of gold. But there will be a TP in bot lane from Salen. They're going to find one of these slowed heroes. Looks like a Poison Nova was committed by TK. And he will get netted up, it looks like. Actually, not enough mana for both, but the Ether Shock going to eat into both. And DK as well as Nayrok's Razor actually kill each other simultaneously. But he will grab the Shadow Shaman with the Plasma Field there. So the plays from Nayrok and F4L. F4L presumably going to die there, but actually goes in and gets a Riptide out on Salen's Shadow Shaman so that the Plasma Field is enough to bring him down, and one right click into the Venomancer of DK from Nayrok's Razor there takes him down. So they the bot lane as well as forcing a TP rotation out from Salen's Shadow Shaman. So a great trade for Shadows of the Past as well as the Deny in mid tower. They do lose a bit of lane control. Definitely a priority for TC coming into this game, taking out this mid tower to deny an access point to Roche for this Lycan. But he's already picked up his Vlads in his stash there, so we'll see when the courier brings that out. Not sure that he wants to show his hand, so to speak, so early and let Reality know that he's got this. Treads, Bracer, 500 gold, and a Bassi out on this Razor. Arcane Boots just came out for F4L's Naga Siren. There will be a smoke picked up here from Reality's Dragon Knight, so we'll see if he looks to make a play here. Guanzo and Salen going to posture up on this pull top lane and steal the experience from MJW, as well as Fun on the Skywrath Mage. They'll cop a few right clicks on the way out, but other than that, pretty passive laning stage. We're 10 minutes in. Net worth barely led by Reality's DK. Salen will deny him a haste rune. Build 2-1-1 on the Skywrath Mage. He's got nothing but brown roots. Smoke going to be popped by Reality with his Dragon form up. Looks like they're going to make a play on this bot lane against this Razor who got that double kill there. He is sitting at level 7, equivalent with his lane partner F4L, and they will rotate and back off. So great play by them. Good game awareness. They see that there's no one in mid lane and will back F4L off to rotate to top lane, as well as sit Nayrok behind this tower. So in the meantime, they are losing or will start to lose some health on this mid tower. Howl pop by Annihilate mid. Reality gonna TP in and show his hand. So Nayrok does come down into the lane, feeling a bit safer seeing that TP in mid. F4L will rotate up to the top lane. They do not have a smoke. There's one in Fun's stash, and it will be grabbed on the courier. So it looks like they're going to look to make a play top. Bottle as well coming out, perhaps for the Skywrath Mage, or perhaps it is Annihilate's. It is Annihilate's Bottle from the mid lane. So it looks like both teams are looking to push into the offlane T1s. Guanzo going to pop his Dark Pact very smartly as he backs off in case he was hit with any negative debuff, especially a disable. So he's going to survive fine in this top lane, but he does see that the push is coming in here. He's actually going to get Ancient sealed up, but the Dark Pact going to table off the seal as well as the net, and he's going to leap back. F4L going to run down and throw a Riptide into him, but certainly not going to be enough to harass him off the lane. And in the meantime, Salen as well as DK with his Plague Wards and the Liquid Fire Spam going to take out this tower bottom, and they do not need to commit any Serpent Wards here, so they still have that ultimate up. There's a TP from Chrysalid in the top lane, and there is a Glyph here from Thundercats, so they're certainly going to look to defend this. Reality going to have an aggressive TP in here. Guanzo going to come and clean up a little bit of the Crypt Wave with his Dark Pack, but he'll cop a concussive shot to the face, and in the meantime, I Annihilate farming up mid and looking to take mid with 5,000 net worth. There's going to be a TP in here from Salen, so he may look to ward trap him here. He doesn't. He'll just throw an Ether Shock out, clean up the wave, and back I Annihilate off. So there is a 4 up against 3 in this top lane, but I Annihilate is rotating over. We've got a little bit of split push going on from Nayrok here. Zoning EMP, gonna catch out no one here. But there is a sleep initiation from F4L. Pretty grouped up here from Thundercats. We'll see what they do here. There is a plasma field that's going to cop most of them. Guanzo going to Dark Pack and leap away. He's going to Shadow Dance. He will survive. But DK going to be cornered in. And Static linked up, and there will be a net out onto Chrysalid. He will fall too, but a nice ward trap coming out from Salen. He will clean up F4L, but Reality going to die on the backside, completely trapped. So Serpent wards committed, no big ults really committed from Shadows of the Past, and they will get a 3-for-1 trade, cleaning up DK as well as the Jakiro and Reality, Reality's DK. It's weird, the Venomancer's name is DK as a player, so I thought I was saying DK twice. So Nayrok did rotate over, grab himself some experience there. He's got his Drum of Endurance up, and 900 gold in the bank. Looks like we see an Orchid build from MJW's Invoker, and we'll check out the item progression for the Radiant side. That there is a Maelstrom almost built up on this DK here. So interesting build from him. Not going to see a BKB this game. Perhaps worried about being isolated in the Song of the Siren coming out from F4L's Naga here. Mechanism is quite a ways away for DK. He's got nothing in the stash. Necrobook soon to come out for SP Annihilate. We'll see Chrysalid deny up the top tower, and him and the other support Shadow Shaman of Salen will smoke up and rotate towards the mid lane, where Reality is sitting with a Dragon form available. He will initiate early, jump out, Dragon Tail onto F4L. He's got a Breathe Fire. Do they have enough damage? They do not, and the Ice Path is too late from Chrysalid coming in. So great awareness from F4L, knowing the Dragon Tail was used up and the Venomancer was there, that they had no disable left, and he gets out just in time, as well as having the smoke of Chrysalid and Salen revealed. So they'll throw a Liquid Fire into this T2 tower, and look at it just melt along with the Dragon Form Corrosive Breath. That's already a quarter of its health, and the Serpent Wards are going to be committed here. They're going to look to fight. Concussive Shot as well as an Ancient Seal out from Fun on the backline, but he's been caught out with a Pounce and a Leap, and he will be the first casualty of war here as the Serpent Wards were being cleaned up by the rest. Tornado EMP out here on Reality, so that will drain all his mana, but he's still in Dragon Form, and he's still got a Arcane Boots from Salen in here. Ice Path out on one, but a Static Link and a net from F4L here, going to clean up the DK with one last right click. DK going to look to TP out on his Veno, and he does get out in time. The tower will not be in deny range, so lucky for TC there, but they do lose their core DK for a support Skywrath. I Annihilate did also fall in that fight to the Slark on the backside, so actually a 2-for-1 for TC. Certainly a trade they're willing to take. Guanzo was able to pick up with his newly acquired Shadow Blade, so a bit of throwback here. Not too far off. Definitely do see a lot of Shadow Blade Slark, but certainly was more popular before the nerf to Shadow Blade. MJW with a nice zoning tornado onto there to pick up the last hit on that tower, but Guanzo's Shadow Blade as well as a Venison Scale gonna hit on Nayrok, but they're gonna sleep and TP him out with a great, absolutely great disjoint from F4L right before that Dark Pack came off to save his core Razor there, and well worth the cooldown to save what was potentially 2 kills for Thundercats there. However, them having backed off, they will take a free tower here mid. Zoning Tornado and the deny from MJW. Beautiful play with his Tornado. That's twice now, once securing the last hit and another time securing the deny. They will throw out a net and a Mystic Flare onto DK and grab a return kill indeed on the way out. So excellent play here from Shadows of the Past. They've surmounted a 5k net worth and
Dire's
almost
bottom tower is under
7.5k
attack.
experience lead at this point, with I Annihilate already having his Necro 1 up and well on his way to Necro 2, about a couple hundred away. So they're looking really strong here, looking like they're able to 2-0 this team from Thundercats. Not so sure about this Maelstrom build on DK. Not sure that they want to take this game late at all with a Slark DK core, Vino core, going up against a Razor Lycan Invoker. So, personally would have liked to see the BKB. I understand his concern up against the Song of the Siren to not go for it, but I feel like a BKB would have enabled them to deathball every time Dragon Form was up. And him to right-click on the tower without any worry. I Annihilate will clean up Roche with MJW and grab up the Aegis as well. He's got his Necro 2 out and sitting on 200 gold, so really looking good here. Orchid has come out for MJW, really looking good here for Shadows of the Past. There's a TP out from Reality. He will get netted in time, and the Mystic Flare will clean him up bottom with some help from the Ancient Seal to amplify that damage. There is a fort here, but without their Dragon Knight, not going to look to take bottom, and defensive TPs already. Guanzo going to miss the leap on F4L. A Tornado EMP going to hit on Guanzo, but he is in Shadow Dance, so he'll be alright. They'll look to disengage here. It looks like Salen is going to get caught out. He does not have enough money for a TP, but he did buy his Blink Dagger here, so a little bit extra of initiation here for Thundercats, but they are losing everywhere on the map. Trying to split push top. They don't get the tower down. They don't get it in deny range, however, but also not down. Reality dying bottom and them losing their tower. Big wave here, bottom for Guanzo to clean up. I Annihilate will back off his Lycan Wolves so as not to feed them. And howl up and clean up a few of the creeps in the jungle. Send out one of his wolves very smartly to scout, but this Shadow Blade from Guanzo has not been noticed by him. He'll cop one right click and the pounce, as well as the Dark Pack. He'll look to TP out, and there is no one in sight to help him. So really good awareness here from Shadows of the Past to know their limits and play within it. And they have TP'd out on a number of occasions, once in the mid lane, and once there from I Annihilate on the Lycan. So playing really well is Shadows of the Past today. They surprised even the likes of me. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be a roll 2-0 for the Thundercats the way they played in the group stage. But all it takes is one day of bad Dota for a team like an up-and-coming team like the Thundercats to be kicked out of the Dota 2 Canada Cup playoffs. And that is how we do it in the North. So Guanzo going to look to clean up this wave top lane, but he's going to get tornadoed. Thankfully for him, his Dark Pack removed half of that tornado duration. They will look to turn on F4L. Ice Path will hit on him, but Guanzo backed off at the same time, knowing that she does have that reinitiate or disengage capability with the Song of the Siren. Now the BKB is starting to be built for Reality, but I fear it's a little too late. As you can see, the top 3 levels, top 3 experience holders on the board are Lycan, Razor, and MJW's Invoker. For Shadows of the Past, we only have Reality's DK sitting at level 12, and Guanzo even less on this 1 position, or 3 position Slark, I should say, at 11. This 1 position Vino in the hands of DK is sitting at level 8 right now, so really underfarmed on this Vino. He's got Mech Bassy Treads up 21 minutes into the game. So everything going Shadows of the Past way, carrying the momentum over from game 1. We'll see if Guanzo is able to find a pick with this Shadow Blade. There is a jump in from Salen, but he doesn't realize that I Annihilate's on the back lines, and they will not be... Oh, wow, the Shackle is there from Salen. That big hit from the Shadow Blade probably would have been able to clean up Fun without that disable. And Salen will probably die to these wolves here. He's trying to get a blink away, but they keep right-clicking him, and they will finish him off. So, free kill for I Annihilate. That ends up being a 1-for-1. Doesn't look like he'll get the experience for that, as the wolves were quite a ways away from him. But they will clean up the off-lane tower with MJW and F4L split pushing. And we do have a Quas Wex Invoker here in this game, as is indicative of this phase boots Orchid build as well as the Tornado EMPs coming out. So good play by MJW to recognize that that is a little more, that offers a little more to his team than does the Forge Spirits Quas Exord build, being as how they already have I Annihilate to accelerate their push, man their split push, and a lot of magical damage coming out from this Shadows of the Past lineup with their Plasma Field, Riptide, Mystic Flare, Arcane Bolt, and the Invoker combo. Actually, there was an engagement top, and Shadows of the Past were able to clean up DK, the one position Vino, once again. And he is really, really poor, sitting at 4,600 net worth underneath the 4 position Naga Siren of Shadows of the Past, Razor's lane mate in the off lane. So, unfortunately, what was a poor laning stage for, it looks like I might have crashed here, guys. Dota freezing up for me. But what I was going to say is, it looks like what was a poor laning stage for the Thundercats has really transitioned into the mid game as well. So they're looking really poor right now. Top 3 on the net worth, all at 10,000 plus, are the 3 cores of Shadows of the Past. And sorry about that, guys. So did have a little lag here, still having a bit of lag, might have to reconnect in a second. There is a smoke movement from Guanzo and Chrysalid going in on the mid lane, so this is where they look to make something happen. There should be a blink in from Salen soon. There is a Dragon Tail as well as an Ice Path to follow up on I Annihilate, but he's going to get zoned out with a Mystic Flare, and they're going to clean up Salen. Guanzo, as well as the combo of Guanzo and Salen, the Slark and the Shadow Shaman, were able to pick up this Razor, but they'll Tornado up Reality. He'll get hit with an Arcane Bolt, a very nice zoning Ice Path, as well as Macro Pyre from Chrysalid, but he's going to get Ancient Sealed up and chased down by these Necro units, as well as I Annihilate. Reality going to totally whiff his Breathe Fire there, and he may even die from these Necro units here. Slark will pick them up with his Death Pact and actually take a lot of damage from that melee Necronomicon unit going down, but he'll back off. Ends up being a 2-for-1, the 2 supports of TC for the core Razor of Shadows of the Past, so not a terrible trade, but if this tower follows up for Shadows of the Past, definitely goes in their favor. They still do have the capability to defend, certainly. Dark Pact going out from Guanzo. He will disjoint that net with a very nice leap, and the disengage from F4L here with the Song of the Siren, very timely, as Guanzo was looking to reinitiate with that Shadow Blade, and they end up getting no return kills for the loss of their T2 tower as well as their 2 supports. So really excellent play here from Shadows of the Past. They have surmounted a 12,000 net worth lead and experience about the same, so they're looking insanely good in this game. They've got this game well within their grasp, and Necro 3, Vlad's, Treads, and 1,000 gold up on this Lycan at 25 minutes, so really good timing for him. Maybe they look to get a pick here mid lane, but MJW in a very defensive position, as well as F4L, and the scouting of the Wolves have just been able to sort of totally mitigate the ability for the pickoffs from this Thundercats lineup. Again, we have some scouting being done by the Lycan Wolves, so they have Gonzo in this mid lane, but he does look to be alone. A lot of sentry wards committed to this engagement here from Shadows of the Past, but well worth what they got in that mid lane, trading 2-for-1 as well as a mid T2, and they have total map control, and I Annihilate can walk into this Roche pit as he pleases. So there will be an engage from DK onto MJW bottom, but he'll get Orchided up. They actually do find Nayrok in the jungle, but the mech and even the Poison Nova committed here from DK with the Plague Wards. He may actually pick down this Invoker in time, and he does. He will get the experience from the Gil, getting the first death, and DK will get cleaned up by MJW's Invoker quickly thereafter, but slightly winning the engagement there. Not sure it was worth blowing his ult. Orchid only alone by the Invoker. They will find an easy T2 here for TC, so that'll bring the gold a little bit back in their favor, as you see. Experience dipping a little bit. That being such a low level, Venomancer now hit almost level 12 here, but they will commit the Liquid Fire as well as the Serpent Wards and the Dragon Form for this top lane. Immediate Glyph. It looks like Annihilate is still split pushing. He does have a TP here, but looking to take out this bot lane, and they will get a free T3 here top before Annihilate TP's back in. We're going to see some setup here from Song of the Siren. We'll see if there's some initiation. There's just a Shadow Dance and a Disengage, so great pick here for the Thundercats. Not sure if Shadows of the Past were really ready for that. They did not even have the Venomancer DK with them, so he's able to defend bot lane, and he will deny that subsequently after killing off the Lycan Wolves as well as the Wave, and they will get a free T3 top. So Shadows of the Past caught a little bit off guard there, but with that disengage, they can easily walk into this Roche pit, and we'll see what they choose to do here. It looks like they will. 3 heroes going towards this Roche pit, including Nayrok, Fun, and F4L. The Courier will come down with a smoke, and they're going to throw a concussor shot onto Chrysalid as well as put some vision down to go into this Roche pit. So it looks like TC is well aware that this is occurring, but not really willing to fight into the Invoker combo as well as the Mystic Flare and the Razor toolkit, as the Razor has his BKB out and he's only 250 gold from this Aghanims. This Roshan will give him his Aghanims upgrade here. Zoning Tornado EMP, gonna hit on Reality, but he's gonna pop his BKB first, but Net and Static Link gonna go into him, and he's gonna look to TP out, and he will do so in a timely manner, so a very good decision from him, but he does waste that all ever so coveted 10-second BKB charge with the Shapeshift now down. We'll see if Shadows of the Past feels big enough to push into this mid lane. They do have the BKB of Reality down here, so probably not a bad decision. Guanzo does have a TP as well as his Eye of Scatty up, so pretty good item progression for him. He's sitting at 2nd on the net worth, actually. So he will look to split push, and he will look to TP back into the fight. There is no Naga Siren ult for another 3 seconds. It's actually just coming off to a cooldown. They will howl up and look to deal some punishment into this T3. There is a Dragon Tail. There's an Ice Path that goes into Annihilate here, but a zoning EMP from MJW's Invoker will back the Thundercats off, excuse me. They will have a Dragon Tail go into Annihilate here, but as the Song of the Siren came out, actually kind of poor timing there from F4L. This canceled the Tornado from MJW. They'll clean up Nayrok here. He does get Salen's Shadow Shaman before going down, but the Dragon Knight of Reality will chase down F4L and not Dragon Dale him in time, unfortunately. So they do commit the Serpent Wards. They get a T3 in the mid lane for Shadows of the Past. They end up losing their Razor for a Shadow Shaman here. There were no buybacks expended in that fight, and there was a little bit of split pushing going on from Guanzo, but he did TP back into the fight in due time and did not get much done in this top lane. Perhaps a few right clicks on that range racks if that wasn't already done by the Shadow Shaman wards. Guanzo will leap, pounce, and destroy Fun's Skywrath Mage. Unfortunately for him, he's been picked off quite a few times by Guanzo, not able to afford a Ghost Scepter, and perhaps the pounce and Dark Pact damage would be enough to kill him off in the first place. Veil of Discord did come out for DK, so he finally finds a tier 2 item, albeit not one of the scariest ones in the game, but he does have a mech as well as a Veil of Discord. Not going to be able to afford a blink yet. Reality is sitting on a 9-second BKB still, so he did not use BKB in that engagement. So good play from him. That's actually my text message sound, so I am a huge nerd if you guys heard that. I have a face now from Void. Gonna turn this down a bit. Sorry for the lack of camera use here. MJW gonna go down onto TC, hit an EMP on him, but he is hexed up and he'll miss the Tornado. Salen will TP, blink, sorry, into the trees and TP out promptly thereafter. So good play by him to get the disable off and know that he's got to get his blink. Unfortunately for MJW's Invoker, he does not get the kill there, and perhaps he did not commit the Orchid. I did not see the use of an Orchid there. I know it was a little late, but maybe getting a little overconfident in his abilities and his burst to bring down that Shadow Shaman. So perhaps a bit of a misplay from MJW. Don't want to call him out unless I know the facts. So he will pick up an Ultimate Orb here. He's already got his Aghanim Scepter. Seems to be working on a Sheep. We've got an Assault Cuirass out on this Lycan, so an I Annihilate is huge right now. Nayrok also big with a Casual Cloak, Drums, Treads, BKB at 9 seconds, and his Aghanims upgrade here. So really looking good for the side of Shadows of the Past still, I believe. Both teams have one lane of racks exposed, albeit a little bit more of an important lane in the mid lane being exposed for the Thundercats, and their heroes certainly not as stacked and not as effective in the late game, having the Vino and Dragon Knight cores as laning equivalents of the Razor and Invoker cores. So we'll see what their Slark is able to do here. Guanzo does have a BKB, a 10-second fresh BKB for himself up here. He will almost catch out. Actually, that was his teammate TPing back. So he will look to flank from the backside with his Shadow Blade. There are no sentries down in the mid lane here. Dragon Tail out from Reality onto F4. Gale will hit him as well as the Mystic Flare going to zone out Reality, but they clean up the Naga Siren very quickly, and we'll see if Shadows of the Past look to re-engage even without their Song of the Siren. I Annihilate trying to chase down DK. He will right-click into Reality real hard here, and we'll see if he cleans him up on the backside. Skywrath does go down to Guanzo. Dragon Tail into I Annihilate will probably sound his retreat, but his Necro units are chasing down Chrysalid here, and we'll see if they find the kill. They do not, but they will look to work on this Rax, as Guanzo did go down to Nayrok in the backlines. Chrysalid does go down to the Necro units on the side of the fight. There is a zoning EMP here, but DK will look to deter the push. They will get this lane of Rax with ease, and we'll see if they can find some return kills with Guanzo down. And he has most of their initiation after buying that fresh BKB. He just got isolated out here on an island versus the Skywrath, Razor, and Invoker, and he was only able to kill off the Skywrath before dying himself. Orchid probably denying him the ability to use that Shadow Dance there. Actually, it was on cooldown, so he was able to get it off perhaps under the cover of his BKB, but nonetheless, certainly a good trade. I believe that was a 3-for-1. 3-for-2, sorry. The two supports did go down for Shadows of the Past, but all their cores remaining alive, able to spread the Slark out from his team and back Reality as well as DK out with the Lycan there. They get a great engagement, and so more items will continue to come out for this team. 9-second BKB, so no BKB used there from I Annihilate. So really great awareness from these players, knowing whether or not they have to expend some of these charges. Perhaps Eternal Envy Sama would be happy with them for buying BKBs as early as they did, but not using them. So Sheep does come out for this Invoker, so that's going to really help their engagement and his presence in the team fight. Really looks like it's just a matter of formality at this point. Hate to count the Thundercats out. They've played extremely well in this group stage. They will group up as 5, knowing how far down they are, bait out Reality mid. But there is no defense going on in the bottom lane or the top lane here, so perhaps Shadows of the Past pretty wary of this. They will look to rotate towards the Ancients, but Guanzo will not find anyone here as I Annihilate smartly backing out, noticing that there is no defense going on in this bot lane with a very large wave accumulated here, and he will rotate over into his jungle. They will bring a few mid here, but it doesn't look like TC is willing to engage at this point, knowing that there is a lot of backup here, and that their team fight is just at this point pretty underwhelming. Reality will TP back to fend off this wave here. He's still sitting on an 8-second BKB with a Maelstrom and a Plate Mail and a Bracer, so not doing extremely well. Perhaps looking to build into this AC here, but has been really delayed. Net worth dominated heavily by in excess of 15,000 by Shadows of the Past. Experience just an 8k lead, what was once a 12k, in excess of a 12k lead for Shadows of the Past. So some return kills are coming here for